Ladies and gentlemen, success is not an accident, it's a habit. It's the sum of small actions repeated day in and day out. Many people chase motivation, but motivation without discipline is like a car without fuel. Your daily routine is the fuel that drives you toward your dreams. If you want to achieve big, start with the little things you do every day. Think of your life as a bank account. Every positive habit you repeat is a deposit. Every wasted hour is a withdrawal. Over time, those deposits compound into wealth in knowledge, skills, health, and relationships. The truth is, you don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your habits. Great achievers in history didn't rely on luck, they built systems. They woke up with purpose, prioritized their day, and committed to personal growth. They understood that your morning sets the tone for your day sets the tone for your week, and your week set the tone for your life. Success is not just about what you achieve, it's about the kind of person you become in the process. And that transformation happens in your routine. If you win the morning, you win the day. If you win the day, you win the year. And if you win the year, you win your life. So today, I'll share with you 10 powerful habits that, if practiced consistently, can transform your life. They're simple but not easy. They require commitment, discipline, and patience. But if you follow them, success will not be a matter of it. It will be a matter of it will be. 10 key points of the speech. Daily routine for success. Wake up early with purpose. Start your day before the world wakes up to focus on your goals and priorities. Practice gratitude every morning. Begin with a thankful mindset to set a positive tone for the day. Exercise daily. Keep your body active to maintain energy, focus, and mental clarity. Plan your day in advance. Have a clear to-do list that aligns with your bigger goals. Prioritize the most important task first. Tackle the biggest challenge early when your energy is at its peak. Learn something new daily. Invest in personal growth through reading, listening, or practicing skills. Take breaks and rest strategically. Avoid burnout by resting to recharge your mind and body. Eat nutritious foods. Fuel your body with the right nutrients to maintain productivity. Reflect and review each night. Evaluate what worked and what can be improved. Be consistent. Not perfect. Success is built through steady progress, not perfection. There's a reason why so many successful people, from CEOs to world-class athletes, swear by waking up early. It's not just about the number on the clock. It's about the head start you give yourself over the rest of the world. When you wake up early, you're not rushing into the day, reacting to everything around you. You're controlling the pace. You're dictating how the day will begin, and that alone changes the game entirely. Think of the morning as the runway of your day. If you start late, you shorten your runway, forcing yourself to take off in a rush. But when you wake up early, you have a long, calm, clear stretch to prepare for flight. The mind is quiet in those early hours. There are no distractions from emails, phone calls, or social media. The world hasn't yet demanded your attention. You own this time fully. But here's the truth. Waking up early is not enough. Anyone can set an alarm for 5 to 6 a.m. and stumble out of bed. The difference lies in waking up with purpose. If you wake up early but have no plan, no reason, no goal, you'll waste those precious hours scrolling your phone or drifting aimlessly. Purpose is the fuel that makes waking up early worth it. They're already stressed, skipping breakfast, checking their phone, and barely making it to work on time. The second wakes up at 5:30 a.m., drinks water, exercises, reviews their goals, reads something inspiring, and plans their day before the sun rises. Both have the same 24 hours, but one is ahead before the race even starts. That's the competitive advantage of waking early. It multiplies your time without adding a single extra hour to the clock. There's also a psychological edge. When you consistently wake up early, you prove to yourself that you are in control of your actions. You're not a prisoner to the snooze button or the laziness that tempts most people. This daily act of discipline sends a powerful message to your brain. I decide how my day goes. And that mindset spills into every area of life, from work performance to personal relationships. Biologically, the early morning is a gold mine for productivity. Research shows that willpower is like a battery. It starts fully charged in the morning and drains as the day goes on. This is why tackling important goals early is so effective. Your mind is fresh, focused, and free from the clutter that builds as the day unfolds. If you use these golden hours for deep work, creative thinking, or personal development, You will accomplish more before 9:00 a.m. than most people do all day. But let's be honest, this habit is not easy to form. At first, your body will resist. The bed will feel warmer, the air colder, and your mind will whisper just 5 more minutes. But success lives on the other side of that resistance. The secret is to build a system that makes waking early inevitable. That means going to bed at a consistent time, reducing screen time before sleep, and creating a morning ritual you genuinely look forward to. A great way to start is by preparing your mornings the night before. Set out your workout clothes. Write down your top 3 priorities for the next day. Place your alarm clock across the room so you have to physically get up to turn it off. This way you remove friction and make it harder for excuses to win. And don't try to jump from waking at 8:00 a.m. to waking at 5:00 a.m. Overnight, shift your alarm 15 minutes earlier each week until you hit your target. It's also important to understand that waking up early is not about joining the 5 a.m. club for bragging rights. It's about maximizing the quality of your mornings. If you wake early but waste the time, you've gained nothing. But if you wake early and invest those hours in activities that fuel your body, sharpen your mind and strengthen your spirit, you'll begin each day already ahead. You'll walk into the world prepared, focused and calm while everyone else is still catching up. Over time, something amazing happens. The morning becomes your sanctuary. You start to look forward to that quiet cup of coffee, the sound of the early breeze, the peace of reading a few pages, or the energy rush from your workout. This time becomes sacred, a space where you can think deeply, dream boldly, and work strategically without interruptions. And in a world full of noise and chaos, having that pocket of serenity is a priceless asset. The beauty of waking early with purpose is that it compounds. One productive morning might not seem like much, but string together weeks, months, and years of this habit, and you see a transformation. Goals that once felt impossible start to move closer. Projects you kept postponing finally get done. Your confidence grows because you're consistently showing up for yourself before the day has a chance to pull you in 100 different directions. When you wake up, before you even check your phone or think about the tasks ahead, there's one simple, powerful thing you can do to shape the entire course of your day. Practice gratitude. It might sound small, almost too simple to matter, but the truth is, gratitude is a mental reset button, and using it daily rewires the way you see the world. Gratitude is not just about saying a thank you when something nice happens. It's about training your mind to notice the blessings that already exist in your life, no matter how small, and to anchor your day in that awareness. Most people wake up already thinking about problems. The emails they need to answer, the bills waiting to be paid, the meeting they're dreading. But if you start the day from a place of appreciation instead of anxiety, you shift your mindset from scarcity to abundance, from stress to strength. Science backs this up. Studies show that people who practice daily gratitude have lower stress levels, stronger immune systems, better relationships, and higher resilience when facing challenges. Gratitude literally changes the structure of your brain by activating the regions associated with positivity and emotional regulation. Over time, it trains your mind to seek out what's good instead of obsessing over what's wrong. The morning is the perfect time for this practice because your mind is fresh, like a blank page waiting to be written on. If the first words you write are complaints or worries, your brain will look for more of them all day. But if you start with appreciation, you prime yourself to notice opportunities, solutions, and reasons to be joyful. So how do you actually do it? The simplest method is to keep a gratitude journal by your bed. As soon as you wake up, write down 3 things you're grateful for. They don't have to be grand or dramatic. Sometimes the smallest details are the most powerful. It could be the smell of your morning coffee, the laughter of a loved one, the roof over your head, or even the fact that you have another day to try again. The act of writing makes it real. It's no longer just a fleeting thought, it's a conscious choice. Another approach is the gratitude pause. Before you step out of bed, close your eyes, take a deep breath, and name things you're thankful for. Feel the truth of each one. Don't just list them, feel them. Imagine what your life would be like without them, and let that awareness deepen your appreciation. When you open your eyes after this, the world feels different. Not because it changed, but because you did. Practicing gratitude every morning also changes how you interact with others. When you start the day acknowledging the good, you're more patient with people, more understanding, and less reactive. Instead of snapping at the driver who cuts you off or the coworker who's late, you remember that there are bigger, better things in your day to focus on. Gratitude gives you perspective. It reminds you that one bad moment doesn't define the entire day. But here's something important. Gratitude is most powerful when practiced even during hard times. It's easy to be thankful when life is smooth, but when challenges hit, gratitude becomes a lifeline. In difficult moments, starting the day by focusing on what's still good keeps you grounded. It's like building emotional armor, not to block out the world, but to walk through it with strength and grace. Consistency is key. The benefits of gratitude don't come from doing it once or twice, but from making it part of your routine until it becomes second nature. At first, you might struggle to find things to be thankful for, especially if you're going through stress or hardship. But the more you look, the more you'll find. Your mind will get better at spotting the small wins, the hidden blessings, and the reasons to keep going. Over time, something profound happens. You stop waiting for big events to feel grateful, and you start finding joy in the everyday moments most people overlook. You begin to appreciate the sunshine on your face, the taste of your breakfast, the sound of rain against the window. You realize that success isn't just about reaching big goals. It's also about living fully in the present, appreciating the journey, and not just the destination. When you combine this habit with other success routines, like waking early and planning your day, gratitude becomes a multiplier. It fuels your motivation, sharpens your focus, and keeps you resilient when things don't go your way. It turns ordinary mornings into opportunities to start fresh with a clear, calm mind. Your body is the vehicle that carries you through life, and just like any high-performance machine, it needs maintenance. You can have the sharpest mind and the biggest dreams, but if your body is constantly tired, sluggish, and unwell, your potential will always be limited. This is why daily exercise is not just a health habit, it's a success habit. It fuels your energy, sharpens your focus, and strengthens your resilience for everything the day throws at you. We live in a time where mental and emotional stress is at an all-time high. And while many people look for complex solutions, supplements, pills, hacks, the truth is, one of the most effective tools has been available all along: movement. When you exercise, you're not just working your muscles. You're activating a chemical chain reaction in your brain that boosts mood, reduces stress, and enhances mental clarity. Scientists call it the feel-good effect, caused by the release of endorphins, dopamine, and serotonin. In plain terms, exercise makes you happier and sharper. Daily exercise doesn't mean you have to spend 2 hours in the gym or run a marathon every morning. It's about consistent, intentional movement that challenges your body and gets your heart pumping. This could be a 30-minute brisk walk, a yoga session, a quick high-intensity workout, swimming, cycling, or even dancing in your living room. The key is to do something that keeps you active and engaged. The mornings are an ideal time for this habit. By moving your body early in the day, you wake up your muscles, increase blood flow to the brain, and set a tone of discipline and vitality for the hours ahead. Think of it as pressing the starter button on your energy levels. You'll notice you're more alert, more focused, and more productive after. People who exercise in the morning often find they're in a better mood for the rest of the day, which can positively influence work performance, decision-making, and relationships. One of the greatest benefits of daily exercise is that it builds discipline. There will be mornings when you don't feel like it, when your bed feels warmer than the thought of a run or a workout. But showing up anyway teaches you the invaluable skill of doing what needs to be done, regardless of mood. That same discipline carries over into other areas of life. Working on a project when you'd rather relax, sticking to a budget when it's tempting to spend, or pushing through challenges instead of quitting. Exercise also teaches you about progress and patience. When you start, results might not be visible right away. You may feel so slow or even a little clumsy. But over days, weeks, and months, you'll notice changes, not just in your body, but in your confidence, stamina, and mindset. The lesson is clear. Small, consistent efforts add up to big transformations. That's the exact same principle that drives success in business, relationships, and personal growth. From a health perspective, daily movement is like an insurance policy for your future. It lowers the risk of chronic diseases, strengthens your immune system, improves sleep quality, and slows the natural effects of aging. It's not about vanity, it's about vitality. The stronger and healthier you are, the more energy you'll have to chase your dreams and live fully. And let's not forget the mental benefits. Exercise is one of the best natural treatments for anxiety, depression, and stress. It's not magic, it's biology. Physical activity lowers cortisol, the body's main stress hormone, while boosting brain chemicals that enhance mood and focus. In fact, many people find that their best ideas come during a workout or a walk, because movement stimulates creativity and problem solving. To make this habit stick, choose something you actually enjoy. If you hate running, don't force yourself to run every day. Find an activity that excites you. The more you enjoy it, the more likely you'll stay consistent. Also remember that the hardest part is starting. The moment you begin moving, the resistance fades, and by the end of your workout, you'll rarely regret it. It's also helpful to set a specific time for your daily exercise. When you make it part of your routine, it becomes automatic. Just another thing you do without overthinking. Some people thrive on morning workouts for the boost it gives their day, while others prefer evening sessions to release the stress they've built up. The time matters less than the consistency. When you look at successful people across different industries, athletes, entrepreneurs, leaders, you'll see that daily movement is almost always a part of their lives. It's not because they're obsessed with fitness. It's because they understand that physical health supports mental performance. A strong body is the foundation for a strong mind. Success rarely happens by accident. It's almost always the result of intention, structure, and consistent action. Without a plan, your time gets stolen by distractions, interruptions, and other people's priorities. But when you start your day knowing exactly what matters most, you take control of your hours instead of letting them control you. Think of your day as a journey. If you set off without a map, you might end up wandering aimlessly, taking unnecessary detours, or getting completely lost. But if you know your route before you leave, you can travel with purpose, avoid wasted time, and reach your destination fast. That's what planning does. It's your map for the day. Planning in advance means you decide ahead of time how your energy, focus, and attention will be spent. This doesn't just make you more productive, it also reduces stress. Waking up with a clear plan removes the mental chaos of trying to figure things out as you go. Instead of being reactive, constantly putting out fires, you become proactive, working on what truly matters. The best time to plan is the night before. Before going to bed, take 10 to 15 minutes to write down your top priorities for the next day. Not a massive to-do list with 25 tasks, but a focused list of the most important things that will move you toward your goals. This simple ritual has a double benefit. It clears your mind for better sleep and ensures you wake up ready to take action. When you plan, start by identifying your MITs, most important tasks. These are the big, meaningful actions that, if completed, will make the biggest difference in your progress. Too many people spend their day doing what feels urgent but isn't truly important. Planning forces you to make that distinction. Urgency screams for attention, but importance changes your future. Another key to effective planning is time blocking. Instead of just making a list, assign specific times for each task. If something matters, it should live in your calendar, not just in your head. Time blocking protects your priorities from being pushed aside by random events or distractions. It's like making an appointment with yourself, and you should treat it as non-negotiable. You can also boost your planning by grouping similar tasks together, a technique called batching. For example, answering all emails in a single block instead of checking your inbox every 10 minutes saves enormous time and focus. The same goes for phone calls, meetings, or creative work. Grouping tasks prevents mental switching, which is one of the biggest productivity killers. But planning isn't just about work, it's about balance. A well-planned day should include time for rest, exercise, learning, and connection with others. When you intentionally schedule these, they're less likely to be sacrificed when things get busy. Remember, success is not just about achieving more. It's about creating a life you actually enjoy living. One mistake people make is overloading their schedule. A good plan leaves room for flexibility. Life happens, unexpected problems will arise. By leaving small gaps in your day, you give yourself the space to handle surprises without derailing your entire schedule. It's not about cramming every second with activity. It's about prioritizing and protecting what matters. Planning also gives you a sense of progress. At the end of the day, you can look back and see exactly what you accomplished. This builds confidence and motivation to keep going. On the other hand, without a plan, you might be busy all day yet feel like you achieved nothing because you spent your time reacting instead of creating. There's another hidden benefit to planning in advance. It helps you say no. When you already know your priorities, it's easier to turn down requests or distractions that don't align with your goals. You have a clear reason for protecting your time, and you're less likely to get pulled into things that don't matter. Over time, this habit transforms the way you approach life. You stop drifting and start directing. You become the kind of person who moves with purpose instead of just going through the motions. Each day becomes a step towards something bigger, instead of just another 24 hours to get through. If you want to build unstoppable momentum in your day, there's one principle that can change everything. Do your most important task first. Not second, not after checking emails, not once you've warmed up with small jobs. First. This single shift in how you approach your mornings can dramatically increase your productivity and give you a sense of accomplishment that fuels the rest of your day. The reality is, most people start their day reacting, scrolling through social media, responding to messages, or ticking off easy, low-value tasks just to feel busy. It's a trap. Being busy is not the same as being effective. You can spend 8 hours doing little things that feel productive but move you nowhere closer to your real goals. The most important task, often called your MIT, is the one that will create the biggest impact in your life or work if completed today. Why tackle it first? Because willpower is like a battery. It's fully charged in the morning and drains as the day goes on. By afternoon, you're more likely to feel distracted, tired, or tempted to procrastinate. If you delay your MIT until later, you risk it being pushed aside entirely. Doing it first ensures it gets your freshest energy and fullest attention. There's also a psychological advantage. When you start your day by conquering your top priority, you create a victory early. That win generates momentum, boosts confidence, and makes tackling the rest of your to-do list easier. It's like knocking down the biggest domino first. Once it falls, the rest follow with far less effort. But identifying your most important task requires clarity. You can't prioritize without knowing what matters most. This is why planning your day in advance, the previous key point, is so powerful. It forces you to decide what your top priority will be before the day begins. Ask yourself, if I could only accomplish one thing today, which task would make the biggest positive difference? That's your MIT. For some, the MIT might be working on a critical project at work. For others, it might be writing a chapter of a book, making an important sales call, studying for an exam, or preparing a presentation. It's often the thing you've been putting off, the one that feels challenging or uncomfortable. Ironically, these are the tasks that often bring the most growth and opportunity. Many people avoid their MIT because it's difficult, and they instead choose easier, less important tasks to feel productive. But this is like sweeping around a giant obstacle instead of moving it out of the way. You're busy, but you're not progressing. The courage to face your most important task head-on is what separates high performers from the rest. To make this habit stick, create a morning ritual where, after waking and preparing for the day, you sit down and work on your MIT for a set amount of time without interruption. 14. Even just 60 to 90 minutes of deep, focused work can produce results that would take hours if done later in a distracted state. Turn off notifications, close unnecessary tabs, and make it a non-negotiable appointment with yourself. It's also worth noting that if first doesn't necessarily mean at the crack of dawn, it means before you let the noise of the world take over. If your schedule requires early meetings or commitments, carve out your MIT time as soon as possible afterward while your mental energy is still strong. The compound effect of this habit is incredible. If you complete your most important task first every day for a year, you'll have achieved 250-300 major wins by year's end, far more than most people accomplish while scattering their energy across countless small tasks. Over time, this practice also shifts your mindset. You stop seeking the easy way out and start leaning into the hard but meaningful work. You train yourself to value progress over busyness, impact over activity. And when you consistently take care of what matters most first, you'll notice something powerful. You feel lighter. You carry less mental weight because the big thing that was hanging over you is already done. If you stop learning, you stop growing. If you start growing, you start falling behind. In today's fast-moving world, knowledge is not just power, it's currency. Skills that were valuable 5 years ago may already be outdated today, and the only way to stay relevant, competitive, and fulfilled is to make learning a daily habit. Daily learning is not about cramming for exams or spending hours buried in textbooks. It's about feeding your mind with new ideas, perspectives, and skills that expand your thinking and improve your ability to solve problems. Think of it as a daily workout for your brain. The same way exercise strengthens your body, learning strengthens your mind. Every successful person you can think of, entrepreneurs, leaders, innovators, artists, shares this trait. They are lifelong learners. Warren Buffett famously spends up to 80% of his day reading. Bill Gates reads about 50 books a year. Elon Musk has built companies in industries he had no formal training in simply by obsessively studying and asking questions. They understand that the moment you believe you know enough is the moment you stop evolving. The good news is, in our time, learning has never been more accessible. You carry an entire library, a university, and countless mentors in your pocket. Your smartphone, podcasts, audiobooks, online courses, articles, documentaries, all available at little to no cost. The problem isn't lack of access. The problem is lack of intentionality. Too many people fill their free moments with scrolling aimlessly instead of feeding their minds. The key is to turn learning into a non-negotiable part of your daily routine. Even 20 to 30 minutes of focused learning a day compounds into massive results over time. Imagine reading one book a month. That's 12 books a year. Over a decade, that's 120 books, each one expanding your knowledge, perspective, and skills. Learning daily doesn't have to mean formal study. It can be as simple as listening to an educational podcast during your commute, watching a TED Talk instead of another random video, reading a chapter before bed, or practicing a skill you want to master. The important part is that it's intentional, consistent, and directed towards something that matters to your personal or professional growth. Another powerful way to learn is through people. Seek out conversations with those who know more than you or who see the world differently. Ask questions, listen deeply, and be open to having your views challenged. Growth doesn't come from staying in the comfort of what you already know. It comes from exploring new territory. To make learning stick, you need to apply it. Passive consumption of information is like collecting tools but never using them. You don't get the benefit. When you learn something new, find ways to put it into practice immediately. If you read about a productivity technique, try it the same day. If you learn a new word, use it in conversation. Hanji, if you study a business strategy, apply it to your own work. Knowledge becomes power only when it's used. Daily learning also boosts confidence. When you're constantly improving yourself, you feel more prepared to face challenges because you know you're better equipped than you were yesterday. You start to trust yourself more, not because you have all the answers, but because you've trained yourself to find them. There's another subtle benefit. Learning keeps you curious. Curiosity is the spark that drives innovation, creativity, and problem solving. It keeps you engaged with life instead of just drifting through it. When you make a habit of learning something new each day, you start to see connections between ideas, industries, and experiences that others miss. Those connections often lead to breakthroughs, both personally and professionally. But here's the truth. Daily learning requires discipline. It's easier to binge entertainment than to invest time in education. It's easier to scroll than to study. That's why you must set boundaries and create an environment that supports your growth. Schedule learning time, remove distractions, and commit to it as if it were an important meeting with yourself. Because it is. Over months and years, the cumulative effect of daily learning is extraordinary. You'll find yourself speaking more confidently, thinking more strategically, and approaching problems with a wider range of solutions. You'll attract opportunities because people respect those who are knowledgeable and capable. And most importantly, you'll keep evolving into a better version of yourself. Someone wiser, sharper, and more adaptable than the day before. Success is not built in one grand moment. It's built in the quiet discipline of your daily actions. It's not the rare bursts of motivation that shape your future, but the habits you live by every single day. Wake up with purpose. Start with gratitude. Move your body. Plan with intention. Attack your most important task first. Keep learning. Rest strategically. Nourish yourself. Reflect on your progress. Stay consistent. These are not just tasks on a checklist. They are bricks in the foundation of your life. Each day you live by them, you place another brick, another step toward the life you've envisioned. Over time, those steps turn into a path, and that path leads to the success you once only dreamed about. Remember, you are the architect of your own destiny. Every morning is a fresh blueprint. Every choice is a line on the design. The question is, are you building something worth living in? Your routine is your power. Protect it, honor it, and let it carry you toward the life you deserve.